So in view of unemployment being high, very high, and growing at the moment, wouldn't an immigration moratorium make sense and also be good for the GOP so there's not importation of a Democratic voting base?
We have had a set of laws that have resulted in an immigration environment in which legal immigration has been very difficult, time-consuming, expensive, and fraught with uncertainties. Illegal immigration, meanwhile, has been made relatively easy and fast and inexpensive. We need to turn those two around. So I don't think the answer is just shutting down immigration. We're a nation of immigrants. I hope we always will be. But we need to encourage people to come through the front door, not the back door.
We are experiencing an influx of 10 to 25 million Hispanics. And with the dire economic situation, do you potentially foresee that if amnesty is granted, we could see a pretense for enormous social and economic strife between peoples that are competing for jobs in a very poor economic situation?
What we do know is that this will cause a lot of problems with regard to the logical sequence in which we need to get other things done. In other words, my fear is that if we pass the whole thing, we'll get it passed before we've secured the border. If we get it passed before we secure the border, then we haven't solved the inflow problem, and I think that needs to be accomplished before we deal with the 11 million. In other words, you've got to secure the border. You've got to come up with an effective visa entry and exit system so that we can track people. When they come in on a visa, we know when and where they come in and when and where they leave and whether or not they're in compliance with the terms of their visa. Then we also need to update and modernize our visa system, our visa programs, to make sure that they evolve so they are able to reflect changing current economic circumstances. And if we go and address the 11 million first, then we suck all the air out of the room and we do it out of sequence. We make it more difficult to get the things done that we need to do in order to deal with the 11 million. I would like to see immigration reform proceed on a step-by-step basis, where we don't have to vote on an all or nothing 1,500-page package that says either you grant amnesty to all 11 million and do all these other things that we say you have to do, or you get none of it. Instead, I'd like to see us start with something that says, first, we're going to secure the border. Here's how we're going to do that. Second, we're going to fund the development, the implementation of a visa entry and exit system so that we know when and where people are coming in, when and where they're leaving, whether and to what extent they're complying with the terms of their visas. Then we need reforms on our visa programs, lifting the per-country visa caps. We need to extend some of these visa programs available for people with degrees in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We also need to expand and extend some of our visa programs with regard to lower skilled labor. We need to start with those areas and then proceed from there. Once those things are in place, I think it'll be a lot easier to figure out what to do with the 11 million. There is no broad-based bipartisan consensus on that yet, but that will develop as we address these other issues first.